Happy Halloween! Scared of the future? Here is how to turn your fears into power and abundance.
G'day, my name is Gerard Kingsley. Please remember to visit my website if you would like to book a consultation with me or if you would like to attend a workshop.
Happy Halloween! Welcome back to my channel. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. Today we will be dealing with spells from the Picatrix. What the Picatrix is, it is an ancient book that was passed down from generation to generation of wizards or court seers or astrologers or numerologists and so forth, and the court physician, and it was held in high esteem. King, each queen, and each pope had their own Picatrix. They had someone who worked for them and interpreted the Picatrix and executed all the spells that are within it. When you choose an electional chart for getting part of an inheritance, put the fourth house degree cusp in the term of Venus. If you wish to acquire help from the law, then you can put the ninth house cusp degree in the term of Venus. If you're choosing an electional chart which has to do with the law and legal battles or lawsuit, then you must put preferably in the ninth house of legal matters, the cusp, in a good term, which is Venus term, and then put the moon and Mars an amicable aspect with one another, so a good aspect with one another. So this would be, for example, the moon at the end of Taurus and Mars in the beginning of Aries, and let them make a sextile. And maybe then put Mars in the 12th house, where he has not a lot of power to do much bad because he's in a cadent house, and the moon in an angular house in the first house on the ascendant, or as close to the ascendant as possible, so that she has the most power and that she can execute it in a nice way and in a positive way. If you are drawing up an electional chart for something which owed to you, then they suggest that you have Mars and Saturn in reception with one another. So what this means is, for example, is Mars in Capricorn and Saturn in Aries would be a good example, because then they are in mutual reception, which means that they are in each other's signs. This can also be if they are in one another's terms, or one another's triplicity, or one another's decan or face. If what is owed to you has to do with money or with writing or with studying, let them have reception with Mercury, for example. So an example of this would be if Mercury is in the term, triplicity, decan, phase of either Saturn or Mars, then it will have some reception. Mercury can also be in Capricorn or in Aquarius, or it can be in Scorpio or in Aries, because then it will have reception with either Mars or with Saturn, because it will be placed in their houses where it will then have reception with them. If you are buying gold, for example, or mining for gold, if you are as lucky as to own a mine, then this would be a good electional chart for you to choose. This is the specifics that they say is required. So they say that the sun must be in a good position. So for example, Leo or Aries, I would say definitely Leo is the first option, as Leo rules the gold, and this is where the sun has the most power. They also suggest that the sun must be in good aspect to the pot of fortune. So the sun can be, for example, in the first house, either conjunct the pot of fortune or sextile the pot of fortune if the pot of fortune is in another sign, or trine the pot of fortune. The sun must preferably be in the 10th house or in the first house, but the first house is the preferred place, and secondly the 10th house. If you do a petition regarding government officials, judges, or rich and generous people, the lord of the chart, meaning the lord of the ascendant, must be Jupiter. So a Jupiter rising sign or a Pisces rising sign. If you're choosing an electional chart regarding kings and nobles, also put the sun in Leo on the ascendant. If you're doing a petition or an electional chart regarding merchants, scribes, teachers, geometricians, make Mercury the lord of the ascendant. So Mercury in Virgo or Mercury in Gemini. So Gemini rising or Virgo rising. I'm not exactly sure why they say this, but all the planets function better in the masculine signs. I assume it's because the masculine signs are more driven or powerful, or so I would always suggest that you put a masculine sign on the ascendant. Jupiter in Sagittarius would be the best, and then Jupiter in Pisces would be second best. The Sun in Leo, the moon does not have a masculine placement where she is powerful, except for in Sagittarius. She has some joy there. It's not rulership or exaltation. So if the moon is in Sagittarius, that is also good. Mercury in Gemini, Venus in Libra, Mars in Aries, Saturn in Aquarius. Then there is a electional chart or petition regarding joyful people. And joyful people are considered to be people who are decorators, artists, actors, and they say that you should put the Lord of the Ascendant, which would rule over these people, is Venus. So Venus must be on the Ascendant in her own sign, preferably in her own term, triplicity, decan, or face. So Venus in Taurus or Venus in Libra. This is a funny little spell, I think, for love. The electional chart would be the moon on the ascendant in Cancer, preferably conjunct the ascendant's degrees in the hour of the moon. And then what you do is when you have this electional chart, in that day and time, you make either a bracelet, a type of a charm, a ring, a necklace, make a space where you can set a lapis lazuli stone, and you set it in the bracelet or necklace in the hour of the moon and when the moon is rising. So if the moon is Taurus or Libra, but preferably in Taurus because the moon in the later degrees of Libra has debilities. If you want to make it in clay, then make the clay in the image of the moon or create like a round talisman or a round disc, and then I will put up an image of what they say a description of the moon's image looks like. The talisman or the jewelry that you've made, and you then wash it in water because the moon rules water because of her natural sign Cancer. The funny part is then if you give the bracelet to two men at the same time, they will love each other very much and they will not be able to be separated. So, very interesting little gay spell from the medieval times. Maybe a good talisman for some students would be this one, under the influence of the moon, so the moon in Cancer or Taurus. If you choose an electional chart, make this image in the hour of the moon with the moon rising, so or Cancer rising, the moon conjunct the ascendant, preferably with an emerald stone placed in the talisman, so clay talisman or any type of jewelry. And then they say something interesting. With the stone, make a seal in incense and give it to a person for good memory, for their ability to retain knowledge. That's why I say the spell might be good for a student or someone going to write exams of some kind, or someone who just wants to remember important information for the rest of their life. For someone who might be slightly desperate out there, who maybe has a sick child, maybe try this spell if you're willing to. Under the influence of the moon in Cancer or the moon in Taurus, make in the image of a man, put on the man's back a lion's head, something like a tattoo. Do this in the hour of the moon with the moon rising with a lapis lazuli stone, and I assume this you will make out of some kind of jewelry or clay. So make this image in like a clay talisman, and then make space where you can put the lapis lazuli stone, and then give this talisman or this piece of jewelry to a child who is very ill, and it will free all children from any illness. So they say. Another one for good memory is place Mercury on the ascendant in the hour of Mercury. So Mercury in Virgo or Gemini in the face of Mercury. So like you get term, triplicity, decan, face. So it must be in the Mercury face, and it's for intellect, knowledge, and wisdom, and to acquire grace from men. So Mercury in the first house, in the face of Mercury, an electional chart for making plants and trees grow, for those tree-hugging and plant-loving people like myself. The moon must be on the ascendant, in the hour of the moon, and also in the first phase of the moon. So in other words, when it's new moon, if you make an electional chart and a talisman in the image of the moon, in the metal of the moon, or in clay, then crops and trees and plants will grow and thrive. And then I would suggest that you try and make the talisman or the jewelry in this hour and date and time, and try and then do the planting as soon as possible and as close as possible to the same electional chart that you chose to make this talisman. And then, if not possible, then do it on every new moon, because the plants just grow better every new moon.
Then I would like to thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and to ring the bell so that you get a notification of the next time I upload a video. Hope you have a wonderful day.